who's had sex with hundreds of women. Listen closely to what I'm about to say. Listen closely to what I'm about to say. As a guy who's had sex with hundreds of women, it is fucking amazing. You understand what I'm saying? Amazing. Listen, don't let anybody fool you. It is amazing. Man, sleeping with all these chicks is overrated, bro. No, it's not. It's amazing. Fuck out of here. You understand what I'm saying? It's fucking amazing. You see what I'm saying? See, the thing is this, and the funny part is that you learn a lot about yourself through these situations. You understand? There were times where I was hooking up with girls and I noticed that, like, for example, there were times I was hooking up with girls and I couldn't really, like, get it up in certain situations. And I realized, I noticed that when I'm dealing with this type of girl, it's hard for me to get sexually aroused and excited. And then also what I noticed about myself was there were times where I would try to, in some form or fashion, like overcompensate in the situation, because I'll be like, man, I don't want this chick to think I'm whack in bed, so let me do this and do that, right? Because I'm like, shit, I can't really get hard, so let me try to do this other thing. And so I was doing a lot of shit to try to make her see me as not like terrible in bed. And then I was like, wait a second, why am I trying so hard to do this with this woman? And the other chick I smashed last week, I was hard as a rock and everything was cool, right? So it's not that, you know, I'm bad in bed. It's just that me and this woman aren't compatible, right? So I learned that compatibility in the bed matters, right? Now, also what I learned was that I was basically simping for trying to do a lot of shit so that the girl would think I'm not bad in bed. Then what happened was that there were times where shit happened again where I couldn't get it up, and I just looked at the girl and I was like, hey, shit happens. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shit happens. I'm sorry. He's not awake. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. You know, it ain't happening tonight, sweetie. I'm sorry. As before, I was like feeling bad and I'm trying to, you understand what I'm saying? But see, I learned all these things about myself through these interactions, right? And then I had great interactions, you know, having sex with these women and all this other stuff. So what I'm saying to you is that what a lot of guys do, right, is they'll either cope and say, that's not, it's overrated or whatever, but they've never been in that situation and they didn't do that. Or you have guys who've had a lot of sex with women, but they were having a lot of sex with women for the wrong reasons. You understand? So what does that mean, having sex for the wrong reasons? So they were having sex to fill a void or to prove something, right? So then what happens is, because they had a lot of sex and they were trying to fill a void and trying to prove something, or thinking sex was going to get them or make them happy, what happens is that you have those guys who've had a lot of sex and then they'll say, oh man, you know, having all this sex was, you know, overrated, and you know, this was a mistake and I wish I didn't do it, and blah, blah, blah. And they'll say that because they thought that having all this sex was going to get them somewhere or bring them something. And when that thing didn't happen, then they regret having the sex, but they regret having the sex because they were having the sex for other reasons besides just having sex. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why they'll say, oh, it's, you know, it's so overrated and it's like a waste of time and you feel it. No. It's a waste of time for you because you were having sex to try to fill a void. You think it's overrated because you were trying to have sex because you thought having sex would make you happy and you still realize that you're depressed. That's the issue. See, you have sex to have sex, right? And what happens is that when you sleep around, right, and you're actually aware, you will realize this. See, it's one thing to hear it and think it, and it's another thing to know it. So when you sleep around and you realize that fucking a bunch of girls is not going to make you happy, that is an awesome lesson. It's a blessing. It's a fucking blessing. Man, when I found that out and when I knew that sleeping around with a bunch of women is not going to make me happy, I was actually happy about that. You know what I'm saying? I was happy that realizing that sleeping with a bunch of women is not going to make me happy. I was like, yes, because now I don't have to chase that because I know that's not going to make me happy, but I can have sex and enjoy it because I don't need sex for my happiness. Do you understand that? I can fully enjoy sex, right? Because I don't need the sex for anything except for the pleasure of sex.